Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video and welcome to round 1 of season 6 of our F124 driver career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Of course, if you missed out on the video that went live yesterday or a couple of days ago with pre-season testing, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. As you can clearly see, we are back with MoneyGram Haas Formula 1 team. Yes, the series that obviously kickstarted us inside F124. I've gone full circle. Obviously, we won championships with Ferrari. We won a championship with Mercedes. So today, I want to start the journey of finally winning a world championship with Haas. This is likely going to be the last series I do, or the last team I race with inside F124 in this series. A lot of you have been requesting that I go to Aston Martin. I would have, except for Aston Martin at no point during this series have they wanted me. Clearly still happy with Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll as their two drivers. Of course, you know, in pre-season testing we spoke about all the driver moves. Leclerc has come back to Formula 1 in my place over at Mercedes, so Mercedes now have Ferrari's IRL lineup for 2025. We've obviously gone back to Haas, replacing Ayumu Iwasa. Iwasa has gone to VCARB and Sainz is not driving this year, so a few moves, nothing too dramatic or anything like that. But yeah, as we take a look though, we're going to have a lot of work to do this season. We have got one of, if not the worst car on the grid at the moment. We're only better than Kick Sauber, so hopefully we're going to try and move our way up the order. Of course, the performance isn't too varied. It's kind of, we've got obviously Formula 1 with Ferrari, Red Bull, McLaren, Mercedes and Aston Martin, and then Formula 1.5 with all of your other teams as well there. So trying to score points is going to be quite difficult this season, but, you know, as a back-to-back double world champion, I certainly think we're going to be capable of trying to deliver some big results. Of course, 2025, it's a new year. I want to try and get close to 200,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Of course, a lot of that will depend on how good F125 is, but of course, yeah, if you're new, please do make sure you get yourself subscribed. We've got plenty of exciting content coming over the next 12 months, and yeah, let's do this thing. Let's head out then onto the circuit, ready for qualifying.
Under the bright lights of Bahrain, it is time for qualifying. Grid position up in the air. Who is going to seize the moment?
Well, here we are then, back in the MoneyGram Haas Formula 1 car, and I must admit, yeah, these first few races, it is going to be very, very weird. It's been a long time since I've had a car that is just nowhere near the fight for wins. I mean, it's going to be a struggle to score points in this thing early on this season. Of course, we will most likely see a new Formula 1 world champion. I think it's going to require a bit of a miracle for us to defend our crown this year, but McLaren, of course, finished off last season so strong with both George Russell and Lando Norris. They'll be looking to try and at least get one of their drivers in with a shot of the world title this campaign. But yeah, I kind of forgot, obviously, this Haas car, very oversteery on the exits of corners, but also, you know, just way less stable than the Mercedes. You know, that was not the fastest car in a straight line, but it really was confident, inspiring through the corners. This car is pretty much the opposite. It's very quick from point A to point B, as long as between those 2 points you haven't got to try and go around corners or anything like that. So far, though, this lap feeling pretty good. See Pierre Gasly, second time in his Formula 1 career, he's had to go up alongside a world champion. And so just a little bit of a wobble there. That's one of the corners we've struggled with all weekend on the exit in towards Sector 3. But one more corner to go then. Back-to-back Formula 1 world champion making our way out of that final corner. George Russell, he won this race last year. He is going to storm to P1. We will line up P12 on the grid. Well, there we go, McLaren front row lockout for them, nice and simple to kickstart the new year there. George Russell 2/10 clear of Lando Norris. Charles Leclerc on his return to Formula 1 will line up P3 ahead of Alonso and Max Verstappen there. Hamilton, decent effort in P6, but we were a 10.5 clear, 2/10 clear of Pierre Gasly there in the end. P12 for us, P16 for our teammate. I think, to be honest, if we can score points here to kickstart the campaign, I would be very happy indeed.
No more testing, no more practice. This is the real deal. And it's make or break here at round 1 of this year's Formula 1 World Championship. There's no shortage of passing opportunities around the 3.36 miles of the Bahrain International Circuit, with the best, of course, at turn 1 and then another soon after into turn 4. 15 corners here, 6 to the left and 9 to the right, and we could see 1 or 2 flat spots into the tight left-hander of turn 10. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. What a qualifying yesterday for George Russell. He'll start today's race from pole position, edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Fernando Alonso, Verstappen, Hamilton, Stroll, Tsunoda, Perez, Oscar Piastri, Fittipaldi, Firestarter, Iwasa, Ricciardo, Ocon, Gasly, Behrman, Albon, Joe, and Frederick Vesti. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today.
Well, here we are then, down on the grid, P12 here. It feels very, very odd to be so far down the order, although admittedly we did have a few bad efforts last year with Mercedes as well. But yeah, it's quite fun, it's quite weird going back, you know, trying to do something a bit different with this series in 2025, of course. You know, I just want to finish F1 24 with some good fun, and obviously trying to bring this Haas team to World Championship glory, hopefully by the end of the game cycle as well there. But yeah, I guess today, you know, this is where our journey is going to start. P12 on the grid, it could have been a whole lot worse. A fairly simple one-stop strategy is looking like it's going to be the way to go. The AI, though, do like to mix it up here between the 1 and the 2 stop. But for the first time in 3 years inside this game, we're going to be driving a Haas Formula 1 car ready on the grid with those 5 red lights. And it's going to be lights out, and away we go. They're off to a fairly clean and tidy getaway. Nope, and looks like Ricciardo has absolutely rocketed past us in towards turn 1, and the other V car of Ayumu Iwasa, of course, going to try and look around the outside as well. There are plenty of contact I can hear just around us through turn 1. We were lucky that we didn't go into the back of Enzo Fittipaldi there after we had quite the lock-up down at turn 1. But all you just see everybody desperate to try and find some room on this opening lap, of course. You know, Haas IRL, there was a bit of loyalty to Ferrari for the organisation. I certainly don't feel that way inside this game, of course. Yeah, this season, you know, I don't think Ferrari are immediately going to be our main rival, but based on their qualifying pace here, they could actually be one of our competitors throughout this campaign. Of course, basically, the way I want to try and do it is this first season is going to be about trying to build Haas up, and then next season, hopefully, is going to be where we fight for the crown, of course. Rule changes, things like that, could definitely come in and change that before next season. You know, maybe give us more work to do, maybe make our lives a little bit easier. But yeah, this season is about embedding ourselves within the Haas organisation once more, which obviously, yeah, is really, really important. Looking at the front of the order, though, looks like Leclerc up into P2. Imagine if he won on his return to Formula 1. But I believe it is still George Russell out in front. We'll get confirmation. Yes, it is. Russell, for the 2nd year in a row here, does lead early on. Oh, just trying to build up confidence in the car at the moment, and that was not what we needed to do. Just had a little bit of contact there with Enzo Fittipaldi's diffuser, and you can see just how easily this car, kind of the weight transfer and everything like that, can be disrupted here. Yeah, just making a little bit of a wobble there, and Daniel Ricciardo will pounce. Obviously, early on, we have just got to kind of stay out of trouble, be a little bit sensible, because, you know, the soft compound tyres will be quicker than the mediums, but with so many drivers on the softs, leads me to believe we could see a lot of cars two-stopping today, as we'll try and see if we can get a run back past Ricciardo in towards turn 1. Again, though, just you notice how easily the fronts lock up on this car and everything like that. The Mercedes, yeah, you know, I said it struggled a little bit with low-speed traction, but apart from that, it was a very, very stable car. It was quite an enjoyable one to drive, and going back to a car like this that is a little bit kind of rough around the edges is certainly an eye-opening experience as well. Wheel-to-wheel with Ricciardo through turn 1. We will hang on to P12 for now. Ooh. Enzo Fittipaldi completely surprised me there with how early he broke down at turn 1. I was about to talk about just how surprised I am that Ferrari have kept him on for another year, but clearly believe in the Brazilian. And of course, yeah, I'm sure having, you know, a world champion surname in the sport. We saw it with Bruno Senna, we saw it with Michael Schumacher, sorry, Mick Schumacher even. You know, I'm sure, yeah, having a world champion surname adds a little bit of extra merit as well there. But yeah, Enzo Fittipaldi really didn't deliver for Ferrari last year. Admittedly, it was a year of rebuilding for them, so that might explain why he's been kept on. Well, Bahrain is always admittedly a bit of a weird opening race of the year inside F1 24. I think because the AI really do like to split their strategy, you kind of have got to wait for the race to come to you. We don't really know exactly just how many cars are on the mediums and things like that. There do definitely seem to be a few of us sprinkled around up and down the order. And I think Tsunoda is on the mediums, but Perez is on the softs just in front of him. It's also a track, obviously, that Haas have always gone really well at as well in recent years. So, you know, we would expect it to be a good race weekend for us as a team. You know, not a bad place to kickstart as well there. But, you know, we've just got to try and bring the neck out of this car. But I want to learn. I don't want to make too many mistakes either. As you can see, Oscar Piastri trying to look past Tsunoda in towards turn 1. We will send one to the inside of Lance Stroll there, as my hunch was correct. Yuki's on the mediums. But yeah, Perez and Piastri aren't there as well. Try and get the run past the second Ferrari of the afternoon. Can we try and box Oscar Piastri in? Oh, a little bit of wheel banging. As Oscar there, I don't think he wanted to get pullied around too much. We'll try and give him the room on the exit of the corner. But look at that, 2 cars in the space of, what, 4 or 5 corners. And I think Tsunoda is probably a bit more vulnerable than the others. Well, Tsunoda then again, without the DRS to defend himself, there he's going to be vulnerable back in towards turn 1. Again, though, you can just hear how much we lock up the fronts when we're trying to get this car slowed down. I've really had to move around the brake bias and the pressures and things like that away from what I normally want to run inside F1 24. But again, you bring it off of a corner, and this thing is so quick in a straight line there. When you get it hooked up, it is really good fun. And this is obviously what I remember back when we were racing for Haas, is on those weekends where the car felt good, it feels really good, as that was far too aggressive on the way in. Tsunoda, again, just kind of reads it and will let me embarrass myself. Well, we've got to be getting close to when the AI are going to start boxing in this GP. Yeah, if the team are telling us we need to box soon, then surely, yeah, the soft compound runners are going to need to be in even sooner. But around the outside that time of Yuki Tsunoda through turn 1. Almost banging wheels there as we're still alongside each other through turn 2. We'll try and move to the inside as here comes Oscar Piastri out of nowhere. Watching all of this unfold. Oh, there's contact. What on earth are they doing there on our outside? Tsunoda, I think, got forced into me from Oscar Piastri there around the outside. So, I mean, that looks like we picked up a tiny bit of front wing damage. I don't think it'll affect the car too badly, but there wasn't a lot we could have done. Well, lap 9, I think, would be too early to try and get a set of the hard compound to the end of the GP, but that's exactly what Charles Leclerc and Lando Norris are both going to try. So their tyres are going to be wrecked by the end of the afternoon. I think, though, looking at it, the AI, they are going to try and one-stop this race. I think all of them, you know, they've probably gone a bit too far for me to think they're going to make another 2 stops before the end of this GP. As obviously Ferrari power versus Ferrari power. Oscar Piastri with the works car as well. You'd expect him to be a little bit more efficient. But again, we will just be able to defend on our better rubber. There we go, Sergio Perez, Lewis Hamilton, and pretty much everybody else diving in. Unless your name's Max Verstappen. So Verstappen, yeah, he's done a really good job taking those softs as far as he has. Got a 13-second lead now at the front of the order. There's Gasly behind us. He's going to dive in as well. I think we want to be diving in about the end of lap 13. I want to make sure we have a big enough tyre advantage at the end of the afternoon against the older hard compound runners. But that being said, we will probably see a safety car here. Oh, sorry, a red flag even, because we always seem to. And with Max Verstappen then into the pit lane, we are going to take the lead for the first time this season. Well, we've been in P1 quite a bit inside this series. Haas certainly haven't, on the other hand, although admittedly, They were in the fight for the win at Silverstone back in Season 3 there as well. We've got a safety car. What on earth's happened? I think that's a car breaking down. Ayumu Iwasa in his first race for VCarb is out of this Grand Prix, and I think Gasly is slow as well. Is our teammate breaking down? I think Pierre Gasly is breaking down as well. I mean, a red flag now would be perfect. Yeah, look at that. Pierre Gasly's gone as well then. So 2 cars out of this Grand Prix in one go. And, well, we've timed this perfectly. Well, we are going to take the opportunity to peel into the pit lane then. But I'm going to try and be really, really cheeky with it here. Obviously, you know, we've got the delta to try and use to make our way in. There we go. Just like get the car slowed down. So we could re-emerge here running in like P5 or P6 then of this Grand Prix. We've got both McLarens. I think that's, well, Leclerc replacing me. But the 5 drivers we saw battle for the World Championship last year are back in front once again.
We need to try and put it behind us though, and let's finish this race strong.
Yeah, Verstappen, Fernando Alonso, both of those McLarens and a Mercedes then. That top 5 is giving us plenty of deja vu. But as we make our way then back out onto the circuit, that has been a beautifully timed safety car, because we're going to re-emerge in P6.
Safety car in this lap.
Well, effectively then, the race strategy has been reset here, but George Russell leading the way out of that final corner. And, well, we've battled with all of these guys sat just in front of us. Many a championship battle has been had with every single one of these runners there, as we almost time it beautifully against Alonso. Just couldn't quite get the run perfect to make our way back down towards someone. I mean, look at that, Oscar Piastri again. He was another big beneficiary from that safety car. And just around our outside, he'll go through turn 1 there. The confidence to hook it up in that Ferrari car. We've got our old teammate now, Lewis Hamilton, tucked up right behind me. Stroll in 9th place. But he is reporting some mechanical gremlins on that Aston Martin. But yeah, we are definitely in a good position to score points today. Well, like I said, points definitely going to be possible throughout the second half of this GP. But I think hanging on to the coattails of those cars in front is certainly going to be a different story here. I mean, it's kind of throwing me back to Season 1 of this series at the moment. Of course, you kind of got your big 5 teams, and then your 5 other teams inside this game, except for Lance Stroll is in that back group, and Sergio Perez is kind of weirdly in the middle as well. Of course, at the moment, Enzo Fittipaldi also struggling, as here comes Lewis Hamilton trying to make a move at the top of the hill as well. But yeah, just takes me back to kind of those weekends in Season 1 where if Lance Stroll was suffering, then there was going to be a fight for a point. If Lance Stroll decided he was going to be a Formula 1 driver that weekend, then there was not really a lot you could do. Well, by extending that first stint then and getting a little bit lucky with the timing of the safety car as well, Verstappen really does seem to have had the upper hand over the likes of Russell and Charles Leclerc there. You can still see the McLaren and the Red Bull fighting at P1. But yeah, Charles Leclerc with a lot of traffic behind him waiting to try and find a way through. I mean, we are just, we're kind of staying fairly close to those guys in front. We're not really under too much pressure from Lewis behind, who, yeah, was obviously one of the earlier ones to box. Perez as well just does not seem to have the pace here, so I don't think we're going to see a resurgent Sergio in this campaign. But yeah, right now, at the moment, all I can really think about is just trying to bring the car home for P7. It wouldn't be a bad way to start this series. But of course, yeah, it just feels so weird when we were always fighting for wins for so long. Well, this group in front are pure evil at the moment. We get really close when they start battling there. It's normally Leclerc, and it has been Lando Norris. Oh, Leclerc's half span! So Leclerc, he's gone for a little mistake there, and that will leave everybody vulnerable. As soon as I was talking about them, Leclerc's just made a little bit of a blunder there. We're going to get past him. We're going to get alongside Oscar Piastri as well. Lando Norris still tucked up in the slipstream of Fernando Alonso. Not quite got the confidence again on the brakes to do anything about that. But suddenly now we're up to P5 and in the fight for the podium. I mean, that's meant that, yeah, Verstappen and Russell are gone. They're going to be duking out at the front to the end of this race. But Charles Leclerc, one little mistake on what so far has been a pretty dream debut over at Mercedes, going to showcase that maybe Lewis Hamilton is the problem in that team, because he's been in the fight for the win as well. Down the inside of Lando Norris will go It's a very robust move. It's the kind of move you make as a two-time world champion on the back foot. But up into P4 then, a trophy here would be just magnificent. But surely as well that Alonso is going to be a sitting duck as we make our way at the final corner. No DRS to defend himself or anything like that. But again, that Aston Martin is certainly a quicker car than our own. As to the outside, we'll try and go in towards turn 1. Again, just not quite got the performance on the brakes. But we'll hang it around the outside through turn 1 there. The wily old fox. We've seen him battle his way around this circuit now for more than 20 years. But Alonso trying to defend the inside line.
We've got to look after it now. Please protect the front wing. Come on.
Oh, we just ran a little bit wide there over the white line. I'll have to give the place back up to Fernando. So wanted to try and let him by there without losing anything to Lando Norris behind. But why on earth would Mark talk to me through the corners? Oh, we failed successfully last time round. This time we're going to see if we can get a run again on Alonso back down in towards turn 1. Oh, Fernando, I think, wanted to try and squeeze me there into the braking zone. That time we want to try and see if I can cut back on him and really spring ourselves out of turn 2. It might allow us to use a bit more slipstream, a bit more DRS to try and get the run to the outside once again. Oh, Fernando will really try and squeeze him this time round. Don't run over the white line on the exit. And around the outside of the Aston Martin will go into P3 of this GP. And I guess the question has got to be, you know, we fought for a world championship in a Mercedes that was a little bit weak last year. This Haas is definitely a worse car than that, but with big results like this to kickstart the campaign, could we end up in the fight once more? I'm not optimistic, I'll be honest, but I always want to believe. I mean, when the AI have got the DRS, we just have not got anything to defend ourselves here. Alonso, again, back down the inside. It's not even worth trying to defend from in towards turn 1. Luckily, he did get past me before the detection point there, so we will be the one with the upper hand again on the exit there, as we'll try and use plenty of battery to the inside. Oh, way overcommitted there, and Alonso, just like we saw with Tsunoda earlier on, we'll say thank you very much this time around that we have been able to stay alongside him as we go wheel to wheel in towards the S's, and Alonso just don't think he has the confidence to go wheel to wheel with us for too long. Nope, he's going to try and get the nose back at the inside again. This Haas car, the tyres, we have still got a tyre advantage over the rest of the AI, and we are trying to use it. Oh, we've got yellows, That's an Alpine. So, well, it's not the end of the world for them, because one Alpine is just going to replace the other in P10, but our third DNF of the day, and that's poor Yuki Tsunoda, who definitely had the better of his teammates so far this GP.
Okay, it looks like the problem's terminal. They're retiring the car.
But yeah, looks like behind us, though, Alonso as well, just really starting to struggle towards the end of the GP. Lando Norris is going to try and find a way around the Aston Martin man as well, and all this battling is just helping us get a little bit of breathing room. Russell and Verstappen absolutely walked away out front. We never would have had the pace to keep up with them, but look at the gap opening up behind. We've got out of the DRS range. Well, as we start the last lap then of the Bahrain Grand Prix here, I mean, we came back to Haas to just see what we can try and do with a truly uncompetitive car once again. Originally, honestly, I never thought we'd win our first season with Mercedes. I thought that was going to have to be a 2-season project, and then we'd come back here for a bit of nostalgia towards the end of this game. But yeah, I mean, we wanted to come back. We wanted to just see what I could do if I can maximise results for this plucky little American outfit. And I tell you what, to kickstart the year, to kickstart our return with a trophy is absolutely the best way to do it. I'm pretty certain since we left Haas, they've had one podium inside this series, back at that British Grand Prix in Season 3, I want to say. But yeah, this season, though, has absolutely been a turnaround once again then, at least here round 1 in Bahrain. Down in towards the final couple of corners, though, George Russell is going to have some deja vu. He won the season opener last year. He's going to win the season opener tonight. George Russell will win the Bahrain Grand Prix yet again inside this series there for McLaren. Max Verstappen follows him home for P2, but it is P3 on our return to Haas.
The British driver will look up and see the checkered flag first. George Russell takes the checkered flag.
Well, you're always unsure of the competition and what your opponents have been able to do in the off-season, but they've come here today, they've delivered the performance that you dream about, and wow, did they make that car sing today. Really impressive stuff.
Our winning drivers are on their way to the podium right now. It's been a fantastic race for McLaren, that's for sure, and no doubt they'll be celebrating tonight.
Well, there we go then. George Russell, pole position, fastest lap, race victory. Simple. And his hope for a world championship kicks off in the best way possible there. Max Verstappen comes through for P2, ahead of myself and Lando Norris there, with Alonso, Piastri, both Mercedes, Checo Perez and Esteban Ocon rounding out our top 10 to kickstart the year. But from 12th on the grid, I'm so happy with that. I mean, admittedly, pretty much everything that could have gone our way went our way today, you know, from the well-timed safety car to even Leclerc's error as well later on in the afternoon. And to take a trophy back to Haas in the first race return, yeah, I was not expecting that coming into it there. Obviously, the Drivers' Championship order will be exactly the same as our race results. Constructors-wise, though, McLaren dominating the way on 38 points there against Red Bull's 20. We are in P3 ahead of Haas, Mercedes and Ferrari there, with Alpine also with a point on the board. Unlucky for Ollie Behrman, who just missed out in this first race of the year there. Did a really good drive to end up, you know, comfortably ahead of the rest of your backmarkers when all is said and done. Tsunoda, Gasly and Iwasa, yeah, 3 retirements from the afternoon, and disappointment for Enzo Fittipaldi, who, yeah, was the last of your runners come the checkered flag as well. But thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back hopefully tomorrow when Formula 1 returns ready on the Jeddah Corniche.